Hey, what is up, guys? We are here with the Jax character breakdown. If you haven't seen the character breakdown videos before, we basically talk about notable normals, strings, specials, and the differences between their variations, as well as basic gameplay. So today we're looking at Jax. He is a rushdown monster. That has always been Jax's thing. He's very aggressive. He's in your face. In this version, he has excellent footsies. He has really strong forward advancing normals that are very hard to deal with. And he has a pretty basic mix-up off of it that is like super dangerous. I'll show you guys in that in just a second. But as you can see, his walk speed forward and backwards, his back walk speed is not that great. Forward walk speed is pretty good. His run is actually pretty slow. It's not like a run I would write home about, but it's not bad either. It's pretty good for covering space. But the main thing that covers his space is his normals and his dash punch. But that is a special we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, like his normals are insane. So he has, overhead low mix-ups and stuff like that, which we'll get into. But the first most important normal any Jax player will use is forward 2. Because this move is safe on block, and forward 2-1 is 0 on block. And that is insane. That is very good for a forward advancing normal in this game. That is super important. So if you guys don't know, Jax's trademark thing is that his corner game is really good. And as you can see here, it's pretty easy for him to push you to the corner with moves like that. The other thing that's really good about him is his down 3 is very good. I think that's probably the best one I've seen so far when I looked at the game. It is +1 on block if the frame data doesn't lie to me. And when I was messing with it, it definitely seems like that's the case. Really strong down 3. And it's a really good check for when your opponent's trying to jump out or maybe stand block or, just get out of your mix-ups and they're not sure what to do. So yeah, that's really great. He has an overhead, back 2. It's also special cancelable, in case you guys were wondering. Some of his other important strings, he has 3, forward 4. That is safe, and that's an overhead string. He has back 3, down 2. Looks like this. Low overhead, right? Lunging low attack, like that, little boot stomp. He has back 3, 4 as well, which launches them full screen and is safe on block. The nice part about this is if they block it, you're at like this range. And you know what's good in this range? Forward 2. Yeah, it's really good. So his strings for the most part are pretty safe. And they all put him in about the right range to do this again. The nice thing about this string as well is that you can kind of hit confirm pretty late. So you can do it and be like, oh, it hit. And then special cancel it like super late. Like you have a ton of time to special cancel it. It's not one where you have to input it like right away, like super early like that. You definitely have time to see if the string hits and decide whether it does to cancel it or not. And if it doesn't hit, check with down 3 or something like that. And it's really good. So let's talk about some of his universal moves. So Jax has a lot of signature moves from MK9 that kind of came back. He has his energy wave, which is projectile like this. Now previously, he could dash cancel his ground pounds, and that made his energy wave really sick. But in this version, you can hold it. So if you're doing this and your opponent's jumping your projectile, you just hold it for a second and then let go, and they will get hit by it out of the air. There's also EX version, it can be held as well, and you can wait a second to throw it. So there's that as well. The other signature move, dash punch. This is super classic Jax, but there's definitely a twist on it this time, and that is if you hold down, there's an overhead version of it. So that's really good for mix-ups. The energy wave and dash punch make his mix-up game really sick, right? Because energy wave is +8 on block, so this right here, and if you cancel it into energy wave and they block high, then you're +8. So then they're going to start crouch blocking, right? They're like, oh, well, I'll just duck the projectile and punish you. So then you just do overhead dash punch. And that is really great because you can actually combo after it really easy in the corner. That's like a super basic combo. Like that is like the easiest probably corner BNB. And you can get upwards to 30% with no meter off of that. So yeah, suddenly that or that becomes a really scary mix-up with just his 2 signature special moves that he has in every variation pretty much. So that's really dangerous. The other thing he has is his back forward 4, which is this. It's an uppercut. It doesn't really look that great, and the EX one doesn't let you juggle. The reason it's important is the corner carry is absolutely insane. Like, you will move from one corner to the other pretty easily, right? Like, you're in the corner. Like, you already have him cornered. So that's really great for corner push. The other signature move that he has in every universal, or he has universally, is gotcha grab. You can also combo after it really easily in the corner if you do the EX version. You can hit whatever button you want, pretty much, to be honest. Oh, whoops. I did a little slow there. You actually recover really early, so you have time to do a number of, like, slower normals even. You don't have to do, like, down 1. Wow, did I really just miss that, like, 4 times? All right, I'll do a combo off it this time. So, yeah, something like that is really easy to do. He can get, like, 35% off that really easily. And that is one of those things he can hit from too. Like, that into EX Gotcha Grab into the big combo in the corner. It's pretty easy. And yeah, EX Gotcha Grab, really good. And it's safe on block. It can be ducked though, so that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing he has, it's universal, is ground pound. Down, down 4. Close, medium, far. EX version, tracking. So that is something that is really good. This version of him, Wrestler, has 2 unique moves. He has an air throw. Looks like that. That's just straight from MK9. He had the backbreaker in there as well. The other one is a command throw, and he can pick which way he throws you, backwards or just throw you forwards. Now, the normal version of it can be extended once, like that, by hitting Y. The EX version can be extended up to 3 times, and 4 if you use an additional meter and you hit all 4 of your attack buttons at once. I don't think that's worth it because you barely get a damage bonus, and it's really, really hard to pull off, so I wouldn't recommend it. But this is what it looks like with 1 extension. Oh, it has to be EX. Whoops. So 1 extension looks like that. 2 extensions is going to look like this. Oh, whoops. That's 2 extensions, and the third one looks like this. Sorry, guys. This is really hard. Yeah, so there's the 3rd extension. And the 4th one is, like, impossibly hard. I'll try it, like, once. Why not? Yeah, it's really hard to do. But, yeah, this chain, as you can see here, you gain more damage as it goes. So you want to try to hit all 3 every time. Unless you want to, like, unless you're in the corner and you don't want to throw them out of the corner on the last hit or something like that. That's something to keep in mind. So yeah, that is Wrestler Jax. It is a grappler version, very aggressive, rush down heavy. Let's go to Pumped Up. So Pumped Up changes a couple of moves. The main one is his ground pound is now full screen like that, and there's the EX version, 13%, and he also gains an EX ground pound. So jump into EX ground pound's a really good mix-up, and it's pretty hard to deal with, to be honest, because if you already, like, if he jumps over you like that, that's gonna be a hard thing to anti-air. The other thing is that his gotcha grab in this version has a different spin to it. So at the end of it, it's a standing reset instead of being, you know, just a knockdown, which is really great because you can go for like overheads after, or low attacks, or, you know, whatever kind of mix-up you want to do. Also, if you mash it, you gain more damage, and depending on which face button you hit, you do different things. But the strike is pretty much, you know, just different on the body, but you get the same kind of thing. And that is Pumped Up Jax in a nutshell. He's pretty simple, to be honest with you. He's not like a super complicated character as far as these two go. The other interesting thing is that gotcha grab is more unsafe on block in this version. Because it's a standing reset at the end of it and it does a little bit more damage, that move is a little bit more unsafe. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Now let's hop into heavy weapons. Heavy weapons is not your traditional Jax, right? He gets in your face, he's rush down, he's aggressive, that's his style. But this version is a little bit different. He loses his energy wave, and he has a rocket launcher that does 11%, and it's a mid. That's really good. He can also hold up and shoot it up, or dash cancel it. So that's something to keep in mind. And you can switch between up and down a couple times, so it's not like you're stuck. Yeah, pretty cool. The other thing he has is the machine gun, which is back forward 3, EX machine gun. And he has anti-air machine gun, anti-air EX machine gun. So this variation is a little bit more defensive, right? Has a little bit more zoning going on than the other variations. And it kind of lets him zone out characters who, you know, are good up close, or go toe-to-toe with characters who are zoners. So that's something pretty interesting. The one thing that kind of does suck, though, is you lose out on that, that mix-up you had with Energy Blast. That is one of the things that is unfortunate. But you do gain the rocket launcher, which is a really sick zoning tool, actually. And that, along with ground pound, is pretty great, right? Like, you can do that into that, and that's a pretty hard thing to deal with, right? So you're doing that, and then like, oh, I won't jump, and then you just dash up and do your unblockable. So it gets pretty tricky, and I think this is a really neat variation for Jax, right? It doesn't play like he normally does, but that's what makes it so cool. And honestly, I think this character is super fun. If you guys like playing footsies and getting in there and playing aggressive, Jax is definitely the character I recommend. He's super, super strong on the ground. He has like really crazy rush down and mix up potential. And he's honestly just a ton of fun. Like, I definitely recommend checking this character out if you're an aggressive player, you like mix ups, you like being offensive, you like, you know, scaring your opponent, and, you know, Jax is just cool in general. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the Jax character breakdown. I'll see you guys again soon.